Ever felt a chill run down your spine while driving through the endless cornfields of the Midwest at night? What if you weren't alone? What if the rustling corn held a secret far more terrifying than just the wind? Today, we're diving into a story that taps into that primal fear, a tale of family, isolation, and the terrifying unknown that might be watching from above. This is the story of the Miller family, and it will make you think twice about what's really out there in the dark. Imagine a quiet farm miles from anywhere. John, Mary, and their daughter Leela are living a simple life, or they were lately. Things have gotten strange. Cattle have been found in the fields, mutilated in a way that defies explanation. Electronics flicker and die without reason. And at night, a low, unsettling hum seems to vibrate from the very earth itself. It's a classic setup for a rural horror story, but this one goes much, much deeper. One evening, Lila is looking out her bedroom window when she sees it, a colossal, silent light hanging over the cornfield. She rushes to wake her parents, but by the time they get to the window, it's gone. John tries to dismiss it, blaming it on a passing plane or a satellite, but Mary knows better. Her voice trembling, she says, "It's starting again, John. Just like last summer. This single line changes everything. It tells us this isn't the first time. The terror isn't new. It's returning. The family isn't just unlucky, they're haunted." This establishes a history of fear, a cycle of dread that they are trapped in. And we, the audience, have just arrived for the latest and perhaps final chapter. The story wastes no time cranking up the tension. The family dog, a classic horror movie alarm system, starts barking uncontrollably at the barn. John, being the protective father, goes to investigate. He doesn't find an intruder or a wild animal. Instead, he discovers a perfect circle burned into the cornfield. The crops still smoldering, but with no flames, no source of the heat. It's a crop circle, but not the kind you see in documentaries. This one feels like a brand, a claim of ownership. Later that night, the inevitable happens. The power cuts out, plunging the farmhouse into absolute darkness, and then the hum returns. Louder this time, more invasive. Shadows, impossibly tall and unnaturally thin, flit past the windows. Inside, the Millers are in full panic mode. Mary is frantically locking every door and window, a futile gesture against an enemy that doesn't need them. While her parents are consumed by the physical threat, Lila experiences something far more personal and terrifying. She starts hearing whispers inside her own head, a chorus of voices repeating her name. This isn't just an invasion of their home. It's an invasion of the mind. Just when you think it can't get any worse, a brilliant beam of white light punches through the roof of the house. The laws of physics seem to break as objects stares. Tables, family photos begin to lift off the floor, caught in the beam's anti-gravity pull. John reacts on instinct, tackling Lila and pulling her to the ground just as the light sweeps over the spot where she stood. It's in this moment of sheer terror that Mary has a horrifying realization. She looks at John and says, "They're not trying to scare us. They're choosing us. This isn't random." The crop circle, the whispers, the light hits, all been a process of selection. The Millers have been marked. Faced with an enemy that can warp reality itself, John makes a desperate, human choice. He grabs his shotgun, a symbol of earthly power now rendered pathetic and useless. He knows they can't hide. Their only option is to confront the threat head on. Together he, Mary, and Leela step out of the house and into the labyrinthine cornfield. The rustling stalks, which once represented their livelihood, now form the walls of a terrifying maze. And then they see them. Moving between the rows of corn are figures that defy biology. They are pale, impossibly thin, with long, spindly limbs. Their eyes are vast, black voids. But the most unsettling thing is how they move. They don't walk, they glide effortlessly and silently, as if they're not bound by the same physical rules as us. They are a force of nature, completely and utterly. Alien? The family freezes. Ei taboro obuteroru. Then one of the figures turns. Its head swivels with an unnatural smoothness, and its black eyes fix on them. For a split second, those eyes flash with an intense white light. In the next instant, Mary is ripped from the ground, pulled violently into the sky by an unseen force, disappearing into a blinding beam of light. All that's left is Lila's heart-wrenching scream. "Mom!" echoing across the silent fields. The hunt is over. The harvest has begun. The abduction of Mary marks a brutal turning point. The film intercuts between two scenes of absolute horror. We see Mary now wake on a cold, metallic table inside the UFO. Strange. Surgical instruments hover over her, moving with a chilling precision, controlled by hands that remain just out of sight. A low, mechanical hum drills into her mind, a sound that feels both physical and psychic. She lets out one final, piercing scream that is abruptly cut to silence. The movie doesn't show us what happens next. It doesn't have to. Our imagination fills in the gaps with horrors far worse than anything that could be shown on screen. Meanwhile, back in the cornfield, John and Lila are running for their lives. But this is no ordinary chase. The field itself begins to twist and warp around them. The rows of corn seem to stretch on for an eternity, looping back on themselves. No matter which way they run, they end up back where they started. The aliens aren't just chasing them, they're playing with them, manipulating space and reality, turning the familiar landscape of their home into an impossible prison. Realizing they can't outrun something that controls reality itself, John makes the ultimate sacrifice. He shoves the shotgun into Lila's hands not as a weapon, but as a burden she must leave behind. He tells her to run, to just keep running, while he creates a distraction. He turns back, firing his useless shotgun into the darkness, screaming in defiance. Just like Mary, he is lifted off his feet, his own scream swallowed by the night sky as he vanishes into a beam of light. The final scene is pure, distilled nightmare fuel. We see Leela stumbling out of the cornfield as dawn breaks. She is alone, traumatized, a sole survivor. The familiar sight of a highway offers a glimmer of hope. She flags down a passing car, and it pulls over. The driver, a seemingly kind, middle-aged man, looks at her with concern. "You okay, miss?" he asks. Lila can only manage a shaky nod, tears streaming down her face. She's safe. She's finally safe. And then, the final gut punch of a twist. The driver turns back to face the road, and in the reflection of the rearview mirror, we see his eyes. They are not human. They are pitch black, empty voids gust, like the creatures in the field. Lila's scream of realization is drowned out by the thunderous roar of engines. The camera pulls back to reveal the sky behind them is now filled with dozens of the same glowing, triangular craft, descending upon the highway like vultures. The screen fades to black, and text appears. Reports of missing families in the Midwest continue. No explanation has been found. It wasn't just about one family. The Millers weren't chosen. They were just next. The invasion isn't coming. It's already here, hidden in plain sight, wearing a human face. It's a terrifying conclusion that leaves you with a deep sense of paranoia. Who can you trust when the monsters look just like us? This story is so effective because it strips away everything we rely on for safety: our homes, our families, even the laws of physics, and leaves us utterly defenseless. It suggests that humanity is not at the top of the food chain and that our world might just be a farm for something far older and more powerful. It's a chilling thought, and one that will stick with you long after the credits roll. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive into cosmic horror. What did you think of that ending? Let me know your theories down in the comments. And if you enjoy exploring stories that keep you up at night, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more content. Until next time, stay safe and maybe avoid any late-night drives through the countryside.